Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Jaychele Appreciation Society, the better half of the Grin Grappler, apparently, because I guess that show is still running now.
Yeah, barely.
Regardless, who did you guys talk about last time? Was you said Brett, right?
You Brett the Hitman Hart.
Trash. Anywho, we're here to talk about Bianca Belair today, the greatest active women's wrestler, and we're gonna start all the way back in. I think this is what 2019 is the first match we chose with
Mm-hmm.
Baszler and Io and Kyrie. What were your guys' first impressions of this match? Do you remember watching this match, or was it your first time?
Um, I've definitely not seen this before. This is a famous takeover that I've never seen. This
Okay,
is April 2019, but at that point I'd stopped watching NXT.
fair.
Um, for a range of reasons that were probably shown in some of the matchups on this show, but I'm told it's a great show, so that's on me. So I hadn't seen it before. I will say there is something very apparent about this one match compared to all the others. When we get to the next two, and you watch Bianca's entrance and watch her like presentation, she basically feels like the one we see now on TV. This one does actually feel like kind of a distant like gap between there. Like she doesn't feel the same to me. She feels a little bit less confident. She's still very confident, but it ain't the same. So that was one that stood out immediately. But we'll get into that stuff in a minute. But as far as my memories, I have really have absolutely none. The Oracle of Wrestling, do you?
Yeah, I remember watching this show. I took off 5 days of work to buy a bunch of things, buy a bunch of indie shows, and watch my brother and sit around all weekend. Um, the last, like, to me, this is the last remaining weekend because even though it was a real remaining weekend this year, speaking out and all that stuff just it changed the course of
Yeah.
everything. Like, um, so it wasn't it's just the indie stuff just wasn't the same. This was like the last WrestleMania weekend of that era, before COVID and speaking out and whatnot. Um, so yeah, I definitely remember watching this show. Enjoyed the show quite a bit. Um, I wasn't as high on the match at the time, but I think I'm higher on it this time around. I think.
Now,
Yeah.
Jay Show, you can clue me in on this because you're the expert here. But from what I can gather, this was the match that was kind of like on a show of critically acclaimed matches, or at least, yeah, I'm going to use the words critically acclaimed very loosely because I fear the Oracle of Wrestling may disagree with a couple of them. This was the one that got like the least overwhelming praise. Is that the case?
I would agree. I feel like in terms of her NXT run, Bianca was kind of underrated. I mean, maybe
Mm.
people who were more heavy online than I was during that time will have something to say about it. But I feel like this match for me, Bianca wasn't necessarily like the standout in this match. I honestly think Io was,
Yeah,
but
oh for sure.
regardless, I think Bianca still really held her own, and I think it's always interesting to see her in like multi-man, multi-woman matches, because she can always do so much more. And we'll get into some of the bigger spots later that kind of prove that it's interesting to see her in matches like that. And I'd love to see her in more of those. But I would agree. I would feel like this would probably was probably the most underrated one. And I actually hadn't seen this match since it first aired because I've
My
watched it.
God,
Yeah, I hadn't
fake
watched it for a
fan.
while. I've watched the other matches at least 20 times, Joe.
The
So
Oracle of Wrestling. Is this the was this the least critically acclaimed match of the show?
Uh, well, uh, Andrade's wife's in another match that might be uh less critically acclaimed.
No, no, no. I mean on this
Oh,
takeover.
are you talking?
Yeah,
Oh, I thought you were talking about this. I thought you were
yeah.
talking about the six
We'll
matches.
get to that one.
Uh,
Don't worry.
but uh, um, that was a low blow. Andrade's wife. That's mean. Um, but yes, maybe. The most critically acclaimed matches on this show were Walter and Pete Dunne and Riddle and Velveteen Dream. So, which of course the latter was my favorite at the time, but
Yeah. So just to be clear, Butch versus Gunter,
Oh, I was gonna make the same joke, Joe.
and well, never mind on the other one. We'll leave that one. I was
Yeah.
going to go in a different direction. I ain't that ready to be fucking in trouble. Carry on, Oracle.
wow. But
Is it getting hot in here? Because I feel some heat.
Yeah, I just there was a couple phrases that came to my mind on that next matchup, and I kind of went, "Oh well, maybe not."
um, but
That's so bad.
yeah, the this was probably the least critically acclaimed. I think a lot of people at the time were like a 4-way.
Yeah.
Um, in terms of what Jaychele mentioned about Bianca being underrated, that was certainly true to a degree. She got a lot of praise online for the Kyrie match in the 2017 Mae Young Classic.
Hmm.
Um, she also had a really good early theme song too that I liked a lot. Um, but she got a lot of praise in that tournament, and obviously disappeared into the coconut loop for a while. And came onto NXT TV probably in the latter half of 2018. Pretty consistently, and I think everybody saw that she had like a massive amount of potential.
Hmm.
She was like, that shoot always uses that analogy of the baseball analogy where like you could see somebody like she's obviously matched it now, but like I think everybody kind of saw like, okay, this is someone who has
Yeah,
star power
definitely.
and can really reach it. She just wasn't, obviously it took her a while. But like it should, for anybody. Um, and around this time, she was obviously getting into title programs and whatnot. Um, she was still finding her way, but this was an important period for her because she got these title matches. She had a title match with Shayna and Phoenix as well back in January of 19. And yeah, this she never was ever the top star or even the top like heel in NXT
Hmm.
at any point. Um, in fact, the next two matches we cover are going to be basically her swan song from NXT.
It's weird, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, she was very popular, but it was more like people were just kind of waiting on her to hit that stride, and she really did probably in the last year. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, just
It's
in terms, just to comment on her kind of um, the online discourse on her at the time from memory, people were just kind of they knew there was something there with her, but she was not like being
discourse.
talked about necessarily as a great worker or anything at the time.
Jay, sure, you mentioned the multi-person match. It's like this was such smart matchmaking, right? Because like this is the perfect way to highlight her strengths without exposing her like kind of green overall work because she's so new. She's in there with such pros here. That was a pretty neat play by old Triple Paul J Shell. What do you think? Good call.
Triple Paul. Oh my god.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think this was really good matchmaking, especially because of all of the storytelling that they were able to do with Io and Kyrie. Um, when Bianca might have needed some time to recover. Same thing for Shayna. I feel
Yeah.
like that took up a lot of the storytelling aspect when Bianca probably at this time wasn't the best at storytelling in the ring. So Io and Kyrie were kind of able to fill that in. Obviously, obviously, as we go down the list and go into more matches, you'll see her be able to tell stories more. But this felt like a good, um, kind of like almost trial match or like whenever they book no, that's bad. I cannot say his name. If you were to book Raquel Gonzalez, even now, Rodriguez, whatever, in a multi-man match, and she's not good at storytelling, which is true because she's not. Um,
Pop.
you would be if you say you booked her in a match with Sasha and Bailey, you would
Yeah.
be able to have the
She just have
storytelling there, so she would.
yeah. She
There
could
you
just
go.
do her strength spots basically.
There you go.
Do you guys agree with me that like there was a noticeable shift between this match and the rest in terms of her confidence? She looks way more confident to me in the second and on. Like it was honestly apparent to me in a way I didn't expect in the NXT, the second and third NXT matches. This one,
Hmm.
you could tell she was just less comfortable. That's all. She still looked like a star, but just less comfortable.
Right.
It's interesting. Um, by the way, before we get into the actual match itself, Marina and Jessamine with Shayna.
Oh yeah.
Pop.
How long was that a thing? I forget
Oh,
this
for like
happened.
Oh,
18 months.
yeah, a while.
That's a long
Why?
time.
Marina Shafir likes me now, by the way, guys. Even if she didn't take a picture of me, she likes me.
Well, that feels challenging from an analytical point of view, but you know,
Who gives a flying
maybe you can
fuck?
get us
You
an
like
interview.
Roderick Strong.
Indeed, that one's less challenging from an analytical point of view. He doesn't like me or know me, so there you go. These are the games we play. Um, they kind of the match was to me, there were like two pairings, right? You had Shayna and Bianca who wrestled at the prior takeover,
Hmm.
and you had the Io Kyrie dynamic of them being a team and being opponents, and so on and so forth. Um, Oracle, do you agree with Jaychele's earlier assessment that Io kind of steals the show here because she is incredible in this match?
Yeah, to a degree. Um, I I think I felt that way at the time, but I think here I was so focused on how Bianca was doing, I kind of
Mm-hmm.
wasn't as weird. Like, um,
You'll be an
I
analyst.
don't
You're
know if I
watching it for
necessarily caught that, but like she was obviously great from what I remember.
yeah,
I was kind of more focused on how it seemed like they had Bianca kind of dominate the match when she was in.
yeah. She pass.
Like she really dominated the match throughout. But I thought they did a really good job of weaving everything in, and like the Kyrie and Io dynamic was great, and like I forgot they were called the Sky Pirates, and
Oh,
Morrow says a couple of things on commentary that make me want to throw my head through a windshield.
I love
Um,
him.
but
good,
uh,
good answer, Jaychele. Finally, an ally on this front.
I
uh,
thought he's really good.
What about
I
when good, good, Jaychele.
I always enjoyed him on commentary. I wish he was still there.
I liked when Bianca Shayna pulled her hair and she yanked it in Shayna fed the post and Moro goes, "Bring back any memories, Nigel," because he watched Ring of Honor. You see,
oh my
Oracle. See,
God! Bring
so
back many memories, Nigel.
you see,
As
do you
he's
get it? Because
gathering around the
he watched ROH United, or Unified. Good stuff, very good stuff. Anyway, Jay, showing
God.
off about 2006 Ring of Honor. Carry on.
Yeah, none of that on this show. We should ban a couple words on this show.
Such as.
Tonight we're banning Ring of Honor
Oh.
and Nigel. No Nigel talk.
Don't like Nigel McGuinness.
That's
You
anti-British.
can't say his name today, Oracle.
Wow, wow, wow. This is a hell of a. This is difficult, man. We bring him up pretty regularly, Oracle, don't we? You and I, just in our
Mm,
conversations. Oh,
yeah.
that's fun.
Maybe we should
Um,
move on to talk about the match itself.
Go
Like the
ahead. You can lead the
content.
way in that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, because I took some notes. I tried my best to take some notes for this show. Because it's the Appreciation Society, so I have to show my appreciation for Bianca Belair.
Fair.
So I took some notes about Io's timing in this match and Kyrie. Both of them had really amazing timing in terms of transitions and just breaking up pins and things like that. The way that they constructed the match really worked in their favor because there was this one spot, I think it's towards the beginning, where Io like hit some double knees. I think it was on Bianca to break up a pin, and it
Mm,
looked insane, and it was just great timing. And then also it was weird to see how heel Bianca kind of worked this match because obviously in recent years I'm so attuned to seeing face Bianca and everything like that, but even heel Bianca was still able to show a lot of emotion on her face.
yes.
And obviously that's like a trademark of hers. Now you look at the Mania match with Sasha and with Becky that we'll talk about later, but she even in this match had a lot of emotion all throughout. The crowd felt a little bit dead for me for this match, but I mean,
Mm,
women's match, what can I say? And she
yeah.
lasted really long in the clutch the first time and in the second time, which was really surprising for me. But she obviously had great selling in the
Yeah. I got you.
clutch. There you go. And the double KOD spot was obviously my favorite spot of the whole match. I was hoping that back at SummerSlam last year she would be able to do that spot with Becky and Carmella, but obviously we know how that went down. But we did see it. We saw some of it.
Pop.
In Saudi.
Mm.
Yeah, the double Cody was just for the finish, right? Really cool spot. The crowd
Yep.
came up for that. The Oracle of Wrestling. What do you think of the match, pal?
It was really good. So I think it had a really good layout. I thought they weaved the Kyrie Io dynamic in really well. I like that Bianca was kind of the thread throughout the whole match in terms of
Yep.
like being in the ring and with power spots, and that kind of would like that was kind of the thread that like set up each section of the match. The double KOD still looks incredible. That's like one of the best, and like the way they built it up, you could see Bianca was like,
Mm-hmm.
you could
Her
see the thing that was
face.
real. Like, oh my god, this is hard, but it
Ruled.
ruled. Um, and like she hit it perfectly. That was a great spot. And of course, it was right there, led to the finish. The fans. This was right during the peak period where people were sick of Shayna as the champion. So like they
Yep.
were gonna cheer for anybody against her, and like she just choked somebody out again, and the fans were so mad. And that's what made the Rhea win later that year such a nice payoff. But yeah, it was a really good match. I really enjoyed it.
This was definitely like bad heat, right? This Shayna
Hmm.
business. Like
Yeah.
she gets the choke and people immediately start booing, like, "Oh God, here we go again." It was very noticeable, I thought, um, which is fine. I mean, as you said, the payoff eventually did rule, so there you go. Other than the notes about the announcer, I won't mention again. I think we've mostly covered it. I will say Bianca's not. You can tell, like with the smart audience, smart. I'm using very loosely, but you know what I'm talking about. That crowd, like you can tell she's not got as much cred as the other women in the match, right? Like meaning Kyrie and Io, who have that kind of. Those fans are going to cheer them regardless, honestly. And Bianca certainly had to like earn it more. She got there in the end with the double KOD deal. Um, but it's a really well produced match. There's hardly any downswings in this in terms of excitement. There's not too much kind of unnecessary padding of the run type. Feels like it gets in, it does exactly what it needs to, and it gets out, which I'm sure on this show was greatly appreciated by the Oracle of Wrestling at about 9:30 Eastern time.
It was
So
super quick too. Like it
yeah,
was very quick paced.
Let me just say,
I
I got through all six of these matches in about 2 hours flat, maybe
God
less.
bless. Yeah, a real
That was
wrestler,
not the case
brother.
with Bret Hart. Let me just say
No,
that. And I love Bret. It
fake
just took a
great, brother.
while.
I
Yeah,
I
watched
played
these
in the
on
cage match for
1.5
that
speed.
shit.
1.5 speed.
I love it.
Oh, no
Cause I,
appreciation
you
for the
know, I
art.
don't like slow. I don't like slow stuff.
How
So
can
it
you
takes
appreciate
out
the
all the
selling?
filler. I see the selling. Just go quicker.
Wow.
That's how I should watch all my wrestling for now on 1.5 speed.
Is that how you watch the Davey Richards Malachi Black match?
Moving on, I would like to say that I was shocked when they talked about Joshi on commentary. I was not expecting that because they wouldn't do that now.
NXT is different. Moro, he's
You think
cooking.
they're gonna talk about that on NXT 2.0 now, Joe?
Probably will. So I'm triple. That's one thing
Well,
with Triple
Triple
Paul that
H,
will
yes.
change. Yeah, like I honestly think even as far as Ray saying, like even Ray shouting at Dean Malenko, I don't think happens under Vince. Genuinely, I think he's actually more loose with that stuff, which is not even a compliment. It just means he isn't quite as insane as Vince, who is like a fucking lunatic with that stuff. So you probably will see that stuff come back. You know,
They don't remember Dean Malenko.
that's 100% it. Yeah. Did you see our guy Kingston let us down at the Oracle? He said that Dean was one of the great technical wrestlers ever. Devastating blow.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Terrible. What a terrible shame.
We're not gonna talk about that on the show, but I have multiple questions that I will ask you on another show, Joe.
Okay.
So next, we're gonna talk about her match versus Rhea Ripley. I first want to start this match by saying this is my favorite wrestling gear ever, 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 ever,
Yeah,
ever,
this is
ever,
cool. Very cool.
ever, ever. Can I?
You're doing Jericho bits on the Jaychele Appreciation Society.
Wait, hold on.
Oh no. Not physical props now too. Oh my goodness, what's going on here? Oh, there you go. I wonder where this was going.
Show it.
That rules. Look at that. Hang on. Let me how do I do this? There's a way I can do it where I put it on the
You
screen hole. I don't know
I'm
how.
more interested in what type of is that a is that a sea creature?
There you
What
go.
is that?
Thank you, Joshua.
It's an octopus.
Oh,
Octopussy.
okay.
Shades of Jonathan Gresham, the Foundation.
Oh my
Uh,
god. I don't think we can talk about that today. Do you want
I
an
can
even
I
bigger
can
pop?
relate to I can really relate to him these days, you know.
Do you guys want to guess her name?
Johnny.
Try again.
Swerve.
It's Jade.
Oh.
Wait, what swerve?
Oh my
Oh,
god.
you said it was a she. Okay.
Swerve.
That
You know,
I
he
was
didn't
trying
show
to
up
think
to
of
the
the
electric
funniest thing. I
ballroom.
was like, a swerve would be funny.
That would actually be really funny. You're right. Anyway, sorry, Jay Shell. Enough about Dean Malenko.
I'm banning him too. Dean Malenko,
Good
ban.
idea. We should ban him from all of these shows.
Okay. Um, did you guys see this match in real time? Or
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
both of you
Yeah.
guys. Okay. What were your original I guess like impressions like going into the rewatch of this?
Or go
So
ahead.
mine were, I was disappointed with the match at the time. Not this time around, like at all. This match fucking popped me.
Yeah.
Um, but at the time, I don't know what I had a different expectation for. It was also it happened like I was really annoyed with the Keith Lee Dijak match on that show.
Isn't that match? Oh, is it the War Games one that people love? Is it that
Uh,
one or no?
I thought it might be the one people love. I think it's one people love.
Okay.
And I just thought the match was just overkill for me. Um, I was kind of exhausted, I think, by that point in the show. Um, and I really, I don't know, I don't even know what I was expecting in the match, but like, I think I was like expecting something more. But on rewatch, I don't know what I was thinking at the time because this match fucking ruled.
Well, to help you some, that was the common reaction to this match.
Yeah.
We definitely got carried away because we knew these were the top two women for the next like generation.
Mm-hmm.
That was absolutely correct. Clearly, I think Rhea's obviously had a couple hurdles, but like she's there, right? She's super over. Um, Definitely, this match is better now, right? Without the context of what was surrounding it and without the expectations of what was there. It's also this is the last takeover before like COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's
So
Bianca's last NXT pay per view as well.
it's a really interesting time. I will say one thing that's really, and this isn't even like a praise, criticism, or anything in between. I'm just commenting on it. It's striking to me that like Bianca basically her presentation is the same, and Rhea's feels like it is fucking transformed, doesn't it? Like it feels like she's got way, and I mean this positive. Like she seems so much more comfortable in her own skin now, and she does whatever she wants to do visually, which is fucking awesome. But it was striking. She looks real different here, and I was like, fuck, it's only two
She
and
went
change. You
through
know?
a total transformation. Like
Yeah, it honestly rules.
if you
Good for
see
her.
her from the
Oh my
29,
god, with the full blonde hair
Yeah,
yeah. No, I'm
and
talking about the
NXT.
2017 NYC when she was just like a tall, awkward Australian girl with blonde hair and
Oh
like
yeah.
yeah.
and she just wore like the shorts or whatever.
hmm
Yeah.
When she got the Charlotte comparisons and all that stuff.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's probably why
Yeah,
she changed her hair.
I think what happened was like she was trying to project an image that she felt was she had to be like a star woman's wrestler, and then
A
she kind of
diva.
yeah, and like I
Mhm.
think she realized the more that she edged towards what she wanted to be, she kind of realized people fuck with it and was with it, and now she's like her. Like and again, that's awesome. That's why she's so over. But
You
she's over
know, if
here
she
too.
left
Well,
WWE, she'd go
she's
straight
also
into the
like
House of Black.
It would fucking rule. Can you imagine her
she's
and
also
Jules as a
super because
team?
like you remember even though like do you remember that girl that they had in WrestleMania who like had her hair like her and like did the stomp and everything? Like it was in the pre-show.
Oh
Like,
yes, the little girl. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, like
Oh right.
she's definitely
It's like
like
a full grown woman.
no, I'm talking like the yeah, like the middle school girl or whatever.
Yeah.
Like they had no what I mean by that is like
Pervert.
she stop. Um
Stop!
but
100% stop.
but that's enough of that shit.
Joe, that was a good one.
Um
You know it was a good one.
but the point is before it was eviscerated by horrible jokes. Um she's she's the type of personality that can get she's a bit of a crossover in the way of like
Yes.
you know
Yeah.
she's not your normal
She's not your
preppy
average girl.
yes diva horseshit
She's not
you
like
know
most girls, right?
I'm not like most girls.
There you
Sorry.
go, Jaychele. Good stuff.
right
She's a big star,
I
man.
just
She's a
remembered
really
whose
big
theme
star.
song that was.
yeah
She was good. When are we gonna do an episode about her?
You gonna do a Grin Grappler about her?
We considered Alexa last month, so I don't know. Circling the drain a little bit. Depends on the month, really. You
Oh
know.
my god. Jesus Christ.
God, imagine Alex on that show. That would be fucking incredible. Could you imagine us selling that to him? Up next, we're gonna do the match with Charlotte where she punched her in the face.
That's my favorite match. That's my favorite Nia match.
She actually has some. In all fairness, the ones with Ronda and Sasha are legit good.
yeah they are
And the Mania match with Alexa's fine. It's just it doesn't need to be a Mania match for the world title. But anyway, enough about Nia Jax. Carry on, Jaychele.
Should I ban her too?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, you
Nia
should.
Jax is banned. I don't condone. Okay. Just to talk about this match a little bit. I really thought that Rhea and Bianca matched their intensity, like each other's intensity, very well here. Like the the way that I always kind of view Rhea is just like a brutal powerhouse, and then I always kind of view Bianca as like an athletic powerhouse. But they kind of just matched up and kind of both provided that for each other today during this match, and I really enjoyed that. But I thought that Bianca could have used the full Nelson more. I saw her use it in this match, and I forgot that she used it.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that it would be something that'd be very beneficial to add to her arsenal now. I feel like that would work really well for her. Also, Rhea slapped Bianca's ass. Did you guys
Many
see that?
times. Yeah, multiple times she did that.
Yeah, I
Moro like laughed and was like, "She just keeps smacking her." I was like, "Well, format commentate."
somewhere. But I really enjoyed this finish. The sunset bomb flip thing that they did was really cool.
Yeah,
Into the riptide. I thought that was dope.
it's definitely interesting, Oracle. You're probably the best person to talk to about this. Like watching wrestlers just pick their offense they're going to do on the main roster is always an incredible deal, right? Like she does like a tope here. And she does the full Nelson Jay should mention. It's like I don't think she does either of those on the because they've just like that's her moves on the main roster. Right? She has like her. So people used to give Cena shit for it, but literally every wrestler in WWE has to have their five fingers. That is how that company works. For better or worse, rain shine. That's what just it's interesting to look back
I
on this.
wonder if I wonder if she'll be busting more stuff out. Like, I wonder if the Triple H regime will change any of that. Well, of course, according to CM Punk, Vince McMahon's still going to run the company behind the scenes. But
That's what he said.
well, that was basically what he said. He said, "You think because he retired, he won't be
I saw
running
that all
things?"
over my Twitter, and I just didn't listen to it.
I was like, I don't know, man. Like, Punk's got a point, but it's just
I feel like it's one
I
of
kind
those
of think
deals
Vince
where
is gone. But
yeah, it feels like it, right? Certainly.
um,
Carry on, Oracle.
sorry, that's another side. We can ban those too if you want. Um, but but this match, man, they beat the shit out of each other and it fucking ruled.
Yeah.
Like, this was popping me huge. Like, um,
Oracle clicking to read the private chat. Somebody needs to clip that because it was just the most intense look.
but got a great story about that I can tell y'all later off the air.
Okay.
Wonderful.
But like, it's a tremendous story. But so yeah, they beat the shit out of each other, and I actually was shocked at how good this was. Like, this was a great match, and I got a little bit sad. It's not necessarily the case 'cause I consider, like, I wish Rhea was more consistently stiff as she was back then. Like,
Yeah.
you could tell, like, when she was, like, wrestling Liv, like, I remember their exchanges at Hell in a Cell were particularly good because, like, I think there was one point where, like, Rhea, like, hit, like, some super violent drop kick or something.
Yeah.
Like, see, I that's the kind of shit that I want is, like, total, like, offensive violence. So, like, I want some, like, Bryan Danielson shit, man. So, like,
Oracle, can I
when that
ask you a
stuff
random
happens
question?
what's that?
I heard a take from somebody who's in the wrestling business and does like runs a wrestling school, and they said to me that today's female superstars are afraid to take a hit. Do you agree with that take, Oracle?
Um, I don't know if that's the case. I have seen certain wrestlers, some with all caps, that for a time were very frightened to take hits, even before even before they went through some concussion issues, and were very scared to take bumps. And that was my biggest issue with them as a worker. And it was very evident that they were very afraid to take hits and bumps. Um, no offense, Joe. Um,
Sorry, mate. I was
That could be
scared.
one
but
of two people for me.
I can tell you agree with me.
Is it a
But
Do you know
J
what?
or is it an
Honestly,
L?
no. Do you know what? It's actually interesting because Oracle's right. There's a perception online that Alexa got like
Okay, it's the
she got
L.
like gun shy after concussions. If you actually watch, and Oracle watches the matches, so he knows this. It actually is the complete other way around. Where that, for whatever reason, what she did when she was
she's
off,
a lot braver now.
Yeah,
than
I
he was
mean,
before.
I think it was stuff with Quack, but we don't really like to credit him because Quack, you know.
Yeah.
But I think that was because when she came out, she took. Do you remember the bump she took against?
Who is that?
Yeah, don't worry. Remember that spot Bailey used to do that
Somebody tell
sunset bomb?
me.
She did it on this match with Bianca. Remember she does that that sunset like kind of flip deal Bailey does. She used
Mm-hmm.
to do it in the 8 on the corner. She did
Mm-hmm.
that to Alexa when she first came out, and apparently like people lost their shit in the company. Like, what are you doing? So yeah, you're right. That was definitely a thing. I don't know about any women now on the roster though. Do you?
Who is
No, I feel like
Quack?
He
I'm
was a
trying to
pervert.
think. There, I would
Never
have to
mind.
pay closer attention. I don't get that sense. Um,
Joe, why are
I'm
you
trying.
smiling like that?
Like
Okay, Quack is banned.
I honestly, I honestly don't get that sense. On
I don't
like
either.
Alexa's the one that always came to mind, but I mean, I can't really think of any. I can't really think of anybody. Maybe Britt Baker.
She's pretty tough though, right?
Britt is very tough, yeah, because like the hardcore matches and stuff. I'll give her credit. She's probably just not very coordinated. So,
Let me explain.
Well,
Because yes,
Jade hurt Velvet and then basically had to dial it back.
Jade has to pull her punches a little bit. She's like a lot bigger than the women. Quack is
That
Mike
was.
Quackenbush, okay, folks. He's not a code name. Jaychele, to be clear.
Oh. Oh.
He's a very problematic wrestling trainer
Oh.
who worked
Okay.
very closely with Alexa before he was publicly. Actually, that's a complete lie. He was definitely known as problematic, but no one cared then. And then, when stuff went down, everyone kind of stopped associating with Quack. He trained like Eddie. He trained Hero, Claudio,
Wow.
Harper. A lot of these guys he was very prominent for. He was a hell of a trainer.
yeah, hell of a trainer, hell of a worker, piece of shit. That's just the reality
Why
of it.
is that a common thread?
Because people that are good at their
Because
gig are just.
because when you're good at wrestling, you're probably a piece of shit.
Yeah, facts.
That's the
Anyway.
But what
reality
if
of it.
people are bad at wrestling and they're pieces of shit?
That's the worst of all.
Yeah, Joey Ryan, for example. Um,
AJ Gray. Next!
Here you go, carry on.
Charlotte Flair.
Hold on. Oh, I have some takes on the rematch. Don't.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so the Oracle's talking about like this match being fun. There's a few moments where they're like slapping each other and they are fucking nailing. It's
Oh,
insane. The one when Rhea's like on the middle rope and she's sitting on the corner, she just whack it like round the ear. It's honestly crazy violent. I agree with Oracle about Rhea. She's honestly a wrestler who like. This is one of those things. What I'm about to say makes no sense, but I think it might pop Oracle, so I'm going to say it. Like in an ideal world, Rhea isn't like a TV character. She's just like this mythical wrestler that wrestles in Japan and comes over to the States 6 times a year and beats the fuck out of people. And we all think she's like the best wrestler in the world. Unfortunately, the way she has to like vignettes and like do evil laughs and stuff, which is a shame.
yeah.
But like,
Although I will say, like, even though it's totally like corny villainy, her like exaggerated laughs pop me.
no, me too. I'm not saying she's
Put
bad.
so much into it. Like she beat up Rey Mysterio backstage. It was incredible.
I like
Yeah,
when she
no.
fights the guys. Maybe this is a hot take, but I think WWE should do intergender wrestling.
In the right spot, I agree.
I'm not opposed to it, but it has to be in the right spot.
Has to be the right workers too.
I think people like Bianca and Rhea and even Becky, to be honest, could really use it for their legacies. But I mean, especially like homegrown talent, like a
Who is-
Bianca.
Who would you like to see at a wrestle? I'm intrigued. Because Bianca can certainly hang athletically and strength-wise, right? So who will be a good matchup for her?
Montez.
My God.
No, I'm for real. Montez.
That match would rule. That's fair.
Yeah.
That'd be good TV. I like Montez a lot. I hope we have an episode of his when he's a singles wrestler.
We'll do it when he wins the championship.
You know they'd go out there and do crazy shit.
They
absolutely.
would. That's why I
You know
love
what?
watching husband and wife or wife and husband and husband wrestle each other.
It could honestly be like that.
Except for Dirty Dishes matches. That's
Fuck,
not
you beat me to it.
I didn't watch that. I
Yeah,
won't be
it was
watching
bad.
that.
That was bad. Half a star.
Half a star?
People like that match. I thought it was one of the worst
I
matches
don't
I've
even
ever seen in
know
my
why it
life.
was so
I
good.
genuinely thought that was one of the worst matches I'd ever seen.
It was so bad.
I couldn't believe it. It went on for ages when people were like, great match. I was like, wow, I guess so.
Anyways, Bianca's fucking dive. Holy shit!
What? Yeah, that was crazy. She doesn't do that now, right?
No, did you see like you just my favorite is when they like show how athletic these people are, like how close she was to hit, and like she still clipped the ropes a little bit, but
Yeah.
she did hands free because she had to hold her braid because you know if she doesn't hold her braid on those dives,
She's going to
she's gonna get
whiplash.
caught up in the ropes. That's why she has to
Mm-hmm.
do that. So she's over there holding her braid and like
Yeah.
hands free fucking tope on hero.
Fucking ruled.
Yeah,
This match was mostly just like elite raw talent just
yeah.
colliding and like just they were having so much fun out there and they felt like I feel like they see each other as their only peer that can really hang
Mhm.
strength wise. It
My
pops
my
them.
biggest my biggest flaw of this match is I still think the finish felt abrupt. There wasn't
I
Yeah.
agree.
enough of a setup for the finish.
Crowd's reaction suggests you're right too. But
Yeah.
I had
um,
that note for the next match, actually.
oh yes, I have many
Oh my
notes.
god.
Next match. Jaychele, you win in this direction. Take us forward with the Queen Charlotte Flair.
I thought that this match was important because I felt like we had to represent all the four horsewomen. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, since we did that, I felt like it was necessary to have Charlotte in here. Um, I still don't think that Charlotte and Bianca have had an actual match, but I felt like this was the closest we've gotten to it because that Raw shit was crazy
Mm-hmm.
with the DQ. But I also thought that thought that this was a really important time of Bianca's career as well because she was literally about to transition into the main roster, um, and this was, I believe, like her last match on actual NXT TV or something like that.
Yeah.
So like looking at this and then looking at how Bianca is now and the character that she's evolved into, I feel like she really began to kind of develop her traits of being, well, her character is basically that she's a black woman. And I feel like as she got more comfortable in her wrestling ability, she got more comfortable in being able to show these different parts of herself. So this was around the time when she was doing the "You Don't Even Go Here" stuff,
Mm-hmm.
which obviously is iconic. Um, I don't even think we should talk about like original perceptions of this match. I think we should just talk about the match in itself because I'm guessing you guys have a lot of thoughts, as you have said.
This may have been bad. Not
Really?
convinced. Hot crowd. The work itself, I don't know, man. To me, this was one of those nights for Charlotte where she just decided she weren't really playing ball, and she just, I thought she kind of mowed her over. To be honest with you, I thought it was pretty nuts. Legit, I thought it was not bad. That's too far, but like to me, it was crazy how much of the match she took, considering that she was ultimately going to win the way she won, which was like completely flat. Um, I think someone of her caliber should be giving Bianca 70% of the match in that case, but you know, what do you? That's kind of who she is, and not even
Yeah, fair.
I'm not even saying it in a way of like, oh my god, it's a disgrace or trying to be dramatic. I just thought it was. They had 10 minutes. I feel like she could have been a lot more giving in that 10 minutes, but that's my personal perception. Oracle, am I crazy? I don't know.
No, I mean the work itself was good, but like Charlotte
Yeah,
just refused to sell.
yeah,
Like, and the finish was like, let me totally no sell your spear.
exactly. Yeah,
And credit to Bianca, she made that Charlotte's you know spear look great, but I'm like, okay, like Charlotte just she did mow her over. Like it wasn't the worst offense Charlotte's ever done in terms of that thing, but like it was clearly like Charlotte just kind of going into business for herself a little bit here. The match was not bad necessarily. It was just Charlotte was just not selling great.
Maybe I did it bad because I only really paid attention to Bianca during this match.
yeah.
Because Bianca makes me happy. Charlotte don't make me that happy. So I was like, I'm gonna watch Bianca. So maybe I should have watched Charlotte more.
No, it's
Um,
fine. No, I mean I thought Bianca was actually really good in this.
Yeah,
Um,
it
and,
was a
they, and, I,
good time.
and they worked the mat a lot and just kind of worked like traditional wrestling a little bit more. And I thought her bumping and stuff was excellent in this.
Crowd was red hot too.
Yeah, yeah, it was.
Great crowd for this in the. Was this at the PC or was this in full sale? Because it looked
that
didn't
it
look like
looks like Full Sail.
I don't know. It looked different to me. I
Oh,
can't
okay.
remember what it looked like now.
Actually, you're right. It might be the PC.
I think it's
It was
because remember
late.
I
It
think
was
it was
late.
Full Sail.
because the one thing is I remember they
It was
moved to
late.
the PC.
I'll Google it.
They moved there like 2 weeks before COVID hit, and then they
They
were kind of
they
stuck
went to
there.
the PC. The first week they went to the PC, if I'm not mistaken, was the last week. It was
Okay.
the night everything went crazy. because Ciampa and Gargano had that crazy brawl throughout the Performance Center.
It was Full Sail then.
Yeah, it was Full Sail.
Yep.
He didn't look the same to me. I guess I just didn't watch enough of it in this era. I don't know. It's a hell of a crowd anyway. So there's that, because that crowd always gets the shit kicked out of it online. So a bit of love to them. They were pretty loud for this one.
Hmm.
I agree, you guys both look great. Charlotte certainly has a presence that shows in this kind of setting, right? The smaller setting, but I just didn't think they particularly clicked. I mean, well, again, Bad was way too strong. I just thought it was pretty poorly allocated TV time, and I feel like they could have really helped Bianca, and instead they kind of just Charlotte just sort of took a lot of the match and then won clean.
Yeah, I think this is the weakest of the matches chosen.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't think that it was I don't think it was bad. I think it was at least like serviceable. I think that Charlotte and Bianca would definitely have a way better match now.
Yeah.
And I feel like it'll happen sometime soon anyway. Bianca can't avoid Charlotte forever.
And also, like, in fairness to Charlotte, all of these other matches are takeover matches and Mania and pay per view matches, right? Like, this was
Yes.
just a TV match. So, and they only had like 10 minutes. So, it ain't a big deal. I agree with you. If they wrestled on, pay per view next month, um, I think they'd probably rock it. So, it is what it is. I think it's a cool matchup. I just haven't really got the best look at it here, but you get what you get, I suppose.
Should we talk about this the one of the most underrated Bianca matches ever next? Moving on.
Underrated? Is that what we're going with?
Yeah. Wait, who do you have next? You have Bailey next?
No, the next match is the legit
Oh.
boss.
Oh, never mind. I messed up my order. Never mind. Oh. Oh my god. I
Maybe the
was
most famous match of her career, very
oh,
underrated.
I was so ready to get on my fucking soapbox. I'm getting on my soapbox for Bailey.
No,
Yeah.
Just
that's
a
okay because
warning.
that match was great. And
I
I
don't
was
have
surprised
notes
how
for
good
this
that was.
Sasha match because I feel like I don't need to have notes for this. The match
Oh,
speaks for itself, and we could just talk through it in general. I feel like I don't think we need to go bit by bit for this.
I agree. It's one of my favourites. It's such a special match. I've seen people compare it in the past to Jaychele. I apologise, but people compared it to Sting versus Ric Flair in the past,
Who and who?
which I always appreciated. I think this is the most selfless performance of Sasha's career, which is hilarious after the match we just talked about. She basically takes every single thing that Bianca does like incredibly and showcases it for the whole match. She takes like 15% of the match. It's a really simple match, but it has these great touches of innovation with the stuff with the hair, which is like iconic, and you'll always remember her hitting with the hair and the sound it made and the way they built to it. It's like one of the most brilliant pieces of wrestling storytelling ever. And best of all, they don't like go into an epic. They don't tell their story and then say, "No, we need to attach 10 minutes of us kicking out stuff to make sure people know it was a good match." They just tell their story and go home because they trust the story they told. And like, I'm not. This show's about Bianca, but that has Sasha's fingerprints all over it. She's so smart when it comes to pro wrestling. So, um,
She's coming back to the Fed, Joe.
I
yes,
think she is. I think she
it's
is
probably going to happen. Yeah,
with
Oh, I
Triple
think
H in
she is.
charge. Yes, I think
it's,
that's
it's,
true.
it's probably going to happen. But the point I made is she's remarkable and genuinely. I don't mean that to slight Bianca, who is just a superstar. What a wonderful match this is, Oracle. What a time.
What's your
Yeah, like
rating, Oracle?
my rating. I mean, I don't really feel like giving it a star rating,
Okay.
because I feel like the best part of this match was like the broad story, because
Yeah.
I think there are some small minor issues in terms of setups and stuff that bother me, and in a vacuum in terms of like when they set up the like for example when they set up the spot where she goes for the double knees and the tree of woe, they took a
Mhm.
little bit too long for that.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of a Sasha thing though. Like sometimes she'll have stuff that's so
Yeah.
elaborate that it'll take a little bit too long. But in terms of the overall storytelling and arc, obviously the historical significance is speaks for itself. Um, and the opening minutes like iconic. Even though they're breaking character, I still think it's an iconic opening minute.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but just a story of like Bianca's like really cocky and confident and like doing all of her power spots, and Sasha takes it all. And like, but Bianca's so confident because she's so new and so fresh that Sasha's taking advantage of her
Mm-hmm.
overconfidence. And so, yes, she only takes like 15, 20% of the match, but it's she's using her smarts and her savvy to take control, and she's like, but she's putting that Sasha twist. I'm gonna attack her hair because I'm Sasha Banks and I'm a bitch, basically, and pays off. She pays for it in the end. The finish. That's what I like. That's what I like about the match so much is the broad sort of arc of the match.
It's
There
beautiful.
are details about it that I don't think are quite as good as the Becky match, but in terms of the broad story, I think it's just as good as the Becky match.
Yeah, I do too.
And it's a different match than the Becky match, but I mean, and I'll get into that when we talk about it. But it's obviously a classic and uh, one of the great matches of the last 5 or 6 years. I also always pop when like Sasha would like find like little like unique ways to hit her moves, like when she did like the she knew like I don't even know if it was on purpose or not, but it felt organic. Like with the tornado DDT where she sprung off the ropes and then hit it, like
Yep,
just little touches like that, accident or not, always add to her matches as well. But yeah, this is an awesome match.
absolutely. Carry on, Joshua.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think in spite, obviously, this match is kind of also famous for having a bad story leading up to it.
Yeah,
I think in spite of that, they were really able to overcome that and kind of introduce their own story throughout the match. I feel like they didn't even really need to have a story for this because once they put in the main event, that was the story. The story is that
Yeah,
these two black women are main eventing WrestleMania for the first time ever, and it's fucking insane. Isn't this is Bianca's first Mania? So to look at her like that, right? Don't
she
she.
she debuted at the PC Mania, but it
Yeah,
was kind of like
in an angle as well, right?
yeah,
So
yeah. She debuted in an
so
angle.
first Mania.
Yeah, pretty much.
I remember seeing her in the last Mania, but I was like, she didn't have a match, so it's first Mania.
yeah,
Um, but like seeing, obviously, like once again, like I said before, the amount of emotion on her face, obviously, an incredibly emotional match, and having her parents ringside is just escalates the finish so much more, and the fact that Bianca was able to every single moment kind of make you feel like, oh, this is it, this is it, oh, this is it. And like you guys did say, I feel like one of the reasons that I love this match so much is how giving Sasha is. And I feel like I value Sasha so much for that in this match because this was Bianca's like star-making performance, and for her to be so giving with that, obviously, I you can always see that they're extremely close in there. If you ever watch the like the playback or whatever it's called, where they watch it together, you see that.
yeah.
But yeah,
Well, look, I mean, here's the thing. You're talking about a wrestler who has dreamed a whole life of wrestling in the WrestleMania main event, and by 2021 has basically been delayed on that front for way too long. I mean, I went to WrestleMania in 2018, and Sasha was on the pre-show. She's been in tag title matches. She had a moment taken from her in 2016 when she clearly should have won that match. I think all of these things are undeniable. So you finally get there and you've been on the main roster for 6 years, and it's your night. You're in the WrestleMania main event, and you say, actually, I don't really need this to be my night. The way this can be the best night is if I make it almost totally exclusively about Bianca Belair. I have faith that will make it even better for me, and that's really the sign of not just a great wrestler, but like a wrestler we'll remember forever. I mean, I genuinely, and again, I don't want to. This is about Bianca Belair, right? But
oh,
you
we'll have a
can't tell.
Sasha episode, Joe. Don't you
Huh,
worry.
you can't tell Bianca's story without talking about Sasha because she clearly made such an effort here, and that's so rare now. It is. I'm sorry. I mean, there's a lot of selfless wrestlers, but not many of them are willing to just. She honestly doesn't have that many like showy offensive moments in this match. It's the WrestleMania main event. She had every right to say, no, we're going to go 25 minutes and we're going to go 50-50 the whole time. But she doesn't. I think that makes
I
the
would have
match so
popped
much
for
better.
that too, to be
It would have been
honest.
great. Yeah, I hope they get to do that match at some point because I don't think they ever did because SummerSlam obviously fell apart. So, yeah, so I don't know. It's a great match. I love it.
SummerSlam, I think, ruined me.
Yeah.
SummerSlam ruined a
And
lot
the
of my
Oracle of
love.
Wrestling.
Well, fair. SummerSlam ruined a lot of my love for wrestling.
Have you heard it's back, wrestling?
It's not.
I've heard it's back.
Why do you
I will
think it's
be in
back?
section 200, row Q, on Saturday evening.
It's back. I know. Here's why I know it's back. The Oracle of Wrestling last night logged onto Twitter.com and like popped huge for AEW segments that felt very un AEW and were a direct response to these general criticisms. So it's back.
I was very excited at
I'll
last
tell you
night's show.
something. That Ricky
Did you guys
Starks
see?
stuff.
I was front row. Sorry.
I saw that. That's
Listen,
awesome.
that Ricky Stark stuff was a
That's all.
masterpiece.
It brought
That
tears
was
to my
straight
eyes.
out of. That was literally like. That was straight out of like old school wrestling television.
Yeah,
Like cocky guy comes in, squashes another guy. Guy comes out like it was very much Paul Heyman ECW. Like
fucking ruled.
yeah, it was one of the
That's
best
my
things
shit.
TK's ever booked. Like
That's my fucking shit.
pretty clearly.
And Dan Garcia won the main event, which was crazy. What a
Yeah.
cool moment.
Some people were actually disappointed in that. Not so much that he won, but that Daniel Bryan, Daniel Bryan, I got him JR now. That Danielson's basically Daniel Bryan. Like not in the way that he's like he's not just an underdog now. He's like an ass kicker, best wrestler in the world, which he should be. But
He has lost a bit.
he's he's not going to have a run as like the top guy ever in AEW. And I think people are
Yeah.
disappointed about that.
He
I don't
lost
know.
the Anarchy in the Arena match. He lost twice to Hangman, right?
Well, they drew, but yeah, he didn't beat him so either time. So
Well, yeah, I guess.
Moxley beat him.
Yup. Oh yeah.
I don't know,
Who
man.
was it?
He's there to put people over and wrestle.
Yeah,
You
very
know?
true.
Yeah, I don't think he
I was
gives a
just
fuck.
thinking about it. I think it's interesting booking for
I
a
just
top
think
star
it's
like that.
Punk's
Garcia's
the one who's going to get the
23.
push, not Brian.
Yeah, well, Punk also needs like because he's like a promo guy.
Yeah.
You need to give him the booking that kind of matches it.
Well, I'm not
Brian's
even
gimmick
presenting
is
that. That's not even my criticism. I
no, you're
thought
just
that was
saying,
an
yeah.
interesting thing that people pointed out.
I think
But
Punk's wife's
anyways,
better
back
than him.
back back to Bianca Belair. Sorry, we're going on these tangents.
Carry on.
Let's talk about that
Oh.
great Hell in a Cell match, which
Oh.
is
Oh yes.
legitimately
Yes.
underrated. And
There we
Jaychele's
go. My
right about that
soapbox.
because I could not believe how good this. Like I think I missed this show live because that was my niece's high school graduation last summer, um, and so I think I was driving home for this. But yeah, uh, this blew me away at how good it was. Like, and look, the Thunderdome era, not my thing, obviously, but like they did everything they could with the environment that they were in, and like there was stuff that was popped me like the biting arm spot. By the way, this is my favorite Bianca gear ever. That gear was fucking
Yeah,
awesome.
that's cool.
The white with the flames, that
Yep.
fucking
Mm-hmm.
ruled. That was a great gear. Um,
She made a video about how she made that one
did she?
on her YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah. This match fucking ruled. Like the kendo stick stuff, where like it backfired on Bailey again, was a good callback to the Sasha Hell in a
Yeah.
Cell match. Um, the stuff at the end was brutal. Like the finish was brutal. The running senton, which is not something that Bianca does a lot on the ladder, and then the
Mm-hmm.
crazy KOD at the end.
I can't remember the
Um,
last time Bianca did a senton. Beyond besides this.
yeah, it ruled.
Tremendous match. Again, I want to be very hesitant to do this because the show's about Bianca Belair, but it does have to be said. Bailey is fucking amazing here. This may be Bailey's best heel performance, right? This is a really great matchup, and like the way she wrestles it is basically she basically concedes all semblance of being able to beat Bianca like in an actual match. She has like all these plans and different ploys, and she
I think that was
runs
her whole
and
character though.
it ruled. Yeah, it's awesome. So like, there's one of the best things. You know the spot they do with the steps, the strength spot that they do with Bianca. Like when Bailey brings the steps in, she like can barely lift them,
Mhm.
and then like 5 seconds later, Bianca picks them up, and it's like
Yep.
that's such great. She's basically telling the audience, man, these things are really heavy. Bianca picks them up easily, and immediately puts it over. Um, it rules. The kendo part that the Oracle of Wrestling mentioned is tremendous business. I will say the ladder stuff, I do think borders on like slight overkill, but like that's a very loose kind of gripe. It's match fucking rules. I liked it very much. Okay, sure.
You know, one thing I noticed is that I never really talk about like moves being overkill. Like in general with matches,
Yeah,
even like time wise, I don't really think, oh, this match went too long or anything like that.
yeah. Well, that's the excess of the youth these days.
Okay, well, my bad. I actually think that this is my second favorite Bianca match ever. Surprisingly,
My
maybe
God.
I think other people would disagree with me, but I think it goes right before Becky for me. This last Mania match. Obviously, Sasha is number one for me, but I think that the hair cuffed idea was really smart.
Yeah.
Um, that they did with both the bottom rope and then obviously with Bailey's wrist. Really would like to see Bianca do that more. I don't know. You'd have to have like a no DQ match or something like that, but I think it'd be really interesting to see her do that again. And obviously, one of my favorite things from the pandemic was when Bailey would always talk to Michael, and Bailey was just talking to Michael during this match, and that was great. But this was a perfect like first Hell in a Cell match for Bianca. Bailey was a perfect opponent for this because obviously she's great at Hell in a Cell matches. If you've seen the Sasha match as well, um, but yeah, that kendo spine buster, obviously great callback. It looked very brutal and very scary. Um, and the latter spot I actually really enjoyed because in Hell in a Cell I feel like they should be taking advantage of those like props and stuff like that, and sometimes they don't even use it in the finish. So I was excited to see them use it in the finish of that.
Yeah, there's some really nice touches here. Like the pairing Bianca's comeback with like tying herself to Bailey was such a great deal because Bailey had felt like she was battling the whole time, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And there's one point in the match where when Bailey basically concedes and wants out.
Yes,
It's
at the
like
door.
fuck,
Yeah,
man. Like Bianca comes out of this match looking like an absolute destroyer, and the
yeah,
match goes long and like they have time, and Bailey gets a lot in because of she works it so smartly that even when she's in control, it feels like she's absolutely robbed and cheated away to that point. But it's remarkable how well Sasha and then Bailey like cemented Bianca as an absolute major star.
yeah,
And obviously, you can only do that with someone who's up to it, and she's more than up to it. She's like one of the most kind of well-rounded talents in wrestling, generational, dare I say. Um, Shout out Jack Crosby, but yeah, they just did a wonderful job, and she comes out of this looking so golden. It's just wonderful.
yeah. I also want to give a shout out to TJ and Molly Holly because I think that they both worked on this match, and they
My
worked on a
God,
lot of these matches. So
inside baseball, agent talk here. You hear this, Oracle?
Mm.
TJ does basically all the women's matches. It's not even inside talk.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that always a good thing though?
You don't like
Always?
TJ's stuff?
Well, I'm sure he'd have gone.
No, you're lying.
You
I'm
think
sure.
you think you think TJ would agent a Natty versus Jenny Neidhart match?
I'm sure he has actually.
There's layers to that. Sorry.
Very much so. I don't know. I'm just saying it's not giving.
Do you see when Natty and Jenny slap each other on the boob on their YouTube
I see
channel?
that. Yes, Jim Ross
I've
likes
never
it.
seen that. Not once.
Jim Ross was unbelievable last night. By the
Oh
way.
my
Wouldn't he not?
god.
Wouldn't he not say Miyu's name?
Yeah. Also, so Regal goes, "I'm happier than a dog with two willies," which I don't know if that makes any sense to you guys, but willy is like Brit talk for penis.
I'm well
Oh,
aware
okay.
what that is.
I didn't
Yeah, I
get it.
assume you would be. Jaychele, I wasn't sure. And JR goes, "I love the two willies," like it was a band.
What did Regal say?
Nothing.
Oh, just let him
I
go.
love, I love the two willies. He said he's so excited about it. Oh, it fucking ruled. High art. Anyway, you had a great night last night. JR was back for the whole 2 hours. It was a blast.
Wasn't it like actually not good though? And you guys just considered it a blast?
Oh, he's terrible. Yeah, he's awful. Eddie Kingston came out. They love seeing Eddie.
Oh, he popped when Eddie came out. Did you hear how he was so excited to see Eddie?
He just watched
I love
Sammy
Eddie.
Guevara wrestle Dante Martin and was like, "Oh, thank God, Eddie Kingston is here."
He's
I
like
hope
a
you
bat
guys.
out of
I
hell.
hope you guys
That's
enjoy
a-
how much Jericho's on Rampage.
Oh, really? Oh, that's a
He's
shame.
like on screen time and time
Rampage
and
is
time and time and time again.
Rampage. We talked about this on the birthday. That show has 100% changed. Like genuinely changed. It's very clear to me they've kind of said this is what the show is. It's going to do 400,000. It's just not punt it, but like you look at the matches they're announcing for that show, it is not the same as what it was
They
initially.
don't give a
Genuinely.
fuck.
They
Dude.
don't. Like they really don't.
Anna
Which is,
Ruby went on last.
Yeah, that's pretty
Do
crazy.
you know how much the crowd was there?
Very few, I'd imagine. I heard some bad things about the crowd, Jaychele.
What did you
You
hear?
were in the front, but there was a lot of reports they were like actively unbearable. Like there was a lot of very bad behaviour at the program. So
What do you mean? Oh, how somebody got kicked out?
Apparently, there was a lot of like fighting and shouting, and apparently it was bad. Yeah, but you're in the front row, so I didn't know.
I no, I was in like one of the 100 sections, like facing the direct entrance ramp,
Yeah.
and then I got moved to the front row at the middle of Rampage, kind of
Well, there
first
was some
quarter.
talk, like especially during the apparently during the Rubiana match, it was pretty pretty difficult for them to have the match they wanted to have in front of that crowd, which is unfortunate.
Wait, I don't even know what happened. I was just so excited. Once they moved me, I didn't
Yeah.
care what the fuck was happening around me. I'm like, we're fucking in front row! I'm in front row! Like,
I'd have just been like, I'd have just said, they'd been like, Holbert, you want to move to the front row? I go, I've seen the Rampage lineup, boss. You're right, I'm going home.
I,
I'd have,
no, Amanda from the community department sent me a text. She goes, "Are you still here?" I give her my section location, and she's like, "Come on, we're going in the front row." I'm
I'd have,
running around the arena, losing my fucking mind, Joe.
I'd have walked up to the security guard and I'd have said, that Satnam Singh match later? Does Samoa Joe shoot an angle afterwards? And he'd be like, no. I'd be like, well, have a good night, pal. Just walked off.
That match is something.
Oh, I bet it is, yeah.
Sanjay Dutt.
Yeah. It sucks. Anyway, it doesn't
I
suck.
want
It's
you to
just
tell me
not
about the
worth
crowd
watching.
after, Joe. I want to know about the
Does
crowd
Sanjay
later.
work with a pencil in his head though?
Yes,
Yes.
until
He's.
something happens.
Oh.
Did you see that Fightful tweeted the story of like Sanjay's wrestling, and one of our pals, I hope it was Steve, someone quote tweeted it with the Norm thing. All the stars are here. The headline for the Rampage lineup was Sanjay Dutt returns to the ring. Fucking rules. All right. Anyway,
Hey, that's a player from the Himalaya, brother.
factual. The original player.
Can Joe? Will you promise later to tell me what happened with the crowd so I can know?
I know genuinely. All I saw was that people online were saying it was like bad. Like
Hmm.
people were fighting and people were getting thrown out. Apparently, it was kind of a mess.
Yeah, somebody got thrown out because of something that happened with like Lee and Stokely, but I didn't even see what was
Oh god.
happening.
Yeah, I don't know. Bill, look at this. Bill actually did what I said. He said I left when I saw the lineup.
Well, see, for me, I enjoy Lee Moriarty, so I was forced to stay,
I'm sure that's good.
and Ruby Soho, and I took a
Destination
picture with
unknown.
Wheeler Yuta, and he remembered me.
Fair.
Becky
Um,
Lynch
Yeah.
defended her.
did we finish the Bailey one?
Yes.
Yeah,
Good.
defended her Raw Women's Championship against Bianca Belair at WrestleMania this year.
Yes.
Oh,
They had yet another classic match featuring Bianca Belair. Uh, on rewatch, this was still pretty outstanding. They really work an all action match, but I really like the broad story they tell here. Where basically Bianca has to kind of make this big valiant comeback throughout the match because it starts with Becky completely on top, but Bianca over time slowly makes comeback, gets like offense, and they do some really cool stuff like the spot where Bianca does like the up for the DVD and then
hmm.
drops Becky on because people thought she was going to hit like something crazy,
Yep.
and she drops Becky on the turnbuckle. That was great. But I just really liked how like they worked the story that they were telling throughout that 8 month period of Becky like being better and smarter than Bianca, but Bianca like proving that she is just as good as she says she is, and coming back and getting that victory, and like she really earned it.
Yeah.
Which is what I really liked about this match so much. Of course, there's the great Molly go round spot where Becky just Bianca eats a boot to the face hard and gets her, bruises her eye orbital. Um, and obviously, we're glad Bianca was okay, but those spots always pop me because it's like, oh my god! And Jimmy Smith popped out. He was like, "I've never seen a kickboxing flip kick before in my life." Whenever he said it, popped me huge. He was like,
I
"I've
like
never
him.
seen that happen."
I like him. I think he's pretty good.
Yeah,
You know?
I do too. It just popped me that like
Oh, I get you.
it like popped him.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, the match ruled. Like, of course, they did the great. Like Becky was trying to find every way to win, which I really appreciated because she had done that and she had found ways to cheat and win in all of her previous title matches and stuff. So it was a culmination of that. Feet on the ropes, roll ups, trying to win by count out. Like but Bianca just kept coming back until she finally, you know, fought off the big manhandle slam from the second rope and did the great moonsault off and then to the KOD, and the crowd rising up as they knew it was going to be the finish was amazing, and she hits it and wins. And of course, the entrances were incredible. Bianca's
Oh
entrance
yeah,
is one of the all-time great WrestleMania entrances. Like legitimately, I think it's like a top five WrestleMania entrance.
yeah, I would agree.
Like they've been
It's
doing
so
WrestleMania
black.
for like 20
It's
years.
so black. Hallelujah.
Fucking rules. Like
Somebody please clip that. Oh
it's
my god.
it's honestly
oh, and sorry, real quick. I
yeah,
never noticed it at the time. I don't think, but on Bianca, on Bianca's ass because I never look at it when I'm watching the matches. Um, Becky's says,
Are you sure, pervert?
oh, no, well, that,
my God.
but okay, only I'll only say no if you say you don't check out the guys you think are attractive in their matches either. Um, but yeah, sometimes not really.
Maybe Lee Moriarty.
Okay, see,
Front row.
okay.
Wow.
He didn't even give me
I
like
mean,
a
I'm
high
watching the matches.
five.
I'm making a joke.
Nothing.
But anyways, I didn't notice
Yes.
that it said Becky's kiss of death on there, like Becky's kiss. I didn't notice that.
Here you go.
Which maybe proves that I'm not a pervert.
Do you
If
get
I
that it
didn't
was
Ooh.
also
pay attention
her
to that.
telling Becky to kiss her ass?
Maybe so.
That's a little bit crass, isn't it?
She does that. She literally does that, Joe. That's her thing. She goes like this.
I don't know. I like
Like Tony
Oracle's
Storm does.
explanation.
Oh my god, I told my boyfriend the other day, I said, when I go to my wrestling camp, because I told you, Joe, I'm going to a fantasy day camp, I'm going to learn
That
how to do the
scared me.
hip attack. I'm going to do it just like
That
Tony.
looked like it genuinely hurts, right?
That
Have you
looks
heard
like
Brian
it
Alvarez
really
talk
hurts
about
a
that spot?
lot.
Yeah,
I
Brian
want to
Alvarez
try
is
it.
like, he's terrified of that spot. He talks about it
Yeah.
every time she does it.
Why is he terrified?
He's convinced he's going to concuss someone.
How?
He's like full whiplash. It looks really, really dangerous, you know?
I want to try it. I really want to try it. I'll do it to my boyfriend. He'll be just fine.
I'm sure it's well. I'm
He'll
sure it's
enjoy
fine.
it.
This match is very different to the year prior. The Oracle of Wrestling said that earlier, and he's correct. This is a much more traditional babyface ascension than what we had against Sasha, where she kind of just is like she explodes on the scene. This is much more her overcoming her greatest foe in terms of the woman who caused her that great defeat, that shocking defeat at SummerSlam, and rebuilding from that mentally and the whole process of it. So it's really great. I think it definitely loses like 5% of the punch when you're not watching it through the lens of, oh my god, are they going to have Becky win this match? Which is not even a criticism, but it is a thing. I think it's why I don't like it as much as the Sasha match personally. That's just me. But it's really good.
Oh, that Molly go round.
I will say I think it's clearly the best Bianca performance on the list. I think she's clearly a level up here. To me, the process of the two matches that came before this are clearly evident watching this one. She's just so polished by this point, you know? Oh, that's very evident, but it's a tremendous match.
I would agree. I have no thoughts on this match because I feel like all of my thoughts were given during the WrestleMania post show when I was sitting here fucking losing my mind at the fact that Bianca just won. But I did have one note that I wrote, and it is a recommendation for Bianca Belair. Bianca, if you are listening, I would like you to try to do a handspring DDT. I don't know if that's possible, but you almost did something like it.
I'm imagining now, like the conversations she has had to go through to get to this point in the show. Like let's just imagine that like she likes Jaychele and she clicked on the video. Like think of the stuff we've talked about on this show that she's like plowed through to get to this point that she's still watching.
We
Maybe
talk
I
about
should
her
just clip.
ass and like.
It's got worse.
Oh,
I talked about Dean Malenko at one point.
Maybe I should just clip it and post it on social media.
No, how do you
But
talk about Joey Ryan and
Quackenbush.
Quackenbush? I mean, just the stuff you have to go through just to even get to.
This is a terribly problematic show you run here, Jaychele. Very problematic show that you
never
host.
forgiven. Never forgiven. I banned those words after, so that's not on me. That's on you guys. Regardless,
Fair.
I would like to say that there was a spot. I don't even know exactly what it was. I think actually I do know. It was a handspring that Bianca did. It was on the outside, so she did a handspring on the ropes. Like she jumped on the ropes, and then she took Becky and did a flip thing where a back body drop basically. But I think that they could do that and do a DDT because I thought that that's what she was gonna do because I forgot how the match went. But I think that they could do a DDT instead of a back body drop.
You should send a DM to Michael
She can do
Pierce
the
and
Ray
ask.
Eddie Halloween Havoc DDT spot where she just
Yeah,
jumps on the ropes.
there you go.
Imagine.
There
Pop me
you go.
huge.
More matches should still. Not enough people reference the Ray Eddie Halloween Havoc match.
Oh,
Not
never.
discussed
By the
it.
way, I hope he wears that gear on Saturday.
What when he teams with Adam Edge?
Mm-hmm. You think he'll wear the gear? I kind of think he
Adam
will.
Edge. He's
Yeah.
teaming with Adam. He's
Nah,
teaming
he's
with.
not. He's not.
He's
I think
teaming
it's
with his son.
they're gonna go to a trios with. It might happen on Saturday. It might happen after, but they're gonna do a trios with Beth and Edge and Ray.
Oh,
That's why
yeah.
Rhea's. I think that'll be Clash. So then that's probably why they got Alexa ready for Bianca because I think Rhea's not gonna be wrestling like title matches for us. She's probably gonna
I'm
do stuff with
excited for
Beth.
that Alexa match. Are you excited, Joe?
It'll be fun. Yeah, I mean, I worry about it a little bit because I'll,
No.
I'll,
Stand
Stand
up,
up.
shut
Stand
up,
up.
and fight
Fight
me.
me!
Do you notice, Jaychele, that she sings it whenever she comes on the ramp?
Yes, I noticed. I watched Raw, and that's why I started singing. I sing it at my boyfriend now. If I
She had
play
another
it, will
one
we get
today.
copyrighted?
Yes, almost
Maybe,
certainly.
yeah. I wouldn't do
Okay,
that.
then I'll show it on my screen. I won't play it.
She had another great one today that Monty sent me where she explained that she finds herself to be actively boring, which I respect, and yeah, she does a pretty good job with the media tour these days. She kind of buries herself. Good stuff.
Pop.
Can respect it, honestly.
Well, she does like bowling for soup, which is
Yeah, she says she's like I'm very boring. I don't understand why
mm,
they make me do this. There you go,
there we go.
folks. Def Rebel. What a job they're doing. Everyone loves the stuff they're doing over
I
there at
like
the
the
World
part when
Wrestling
it like
Federation.
changes course. I was like, it flipped the switch, something like that. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't really, but you've said it twice and you're popping me with it, so I'm going to say yes. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Pop.
She sings the whole song too,
Yeah.
with the
Who does?
doll.
Oh, yeah, the
Lexi.
doll's good.
And she
Yeah.
makes the dolls kiss the dolls in the audience.
You see that picture of the little kid today with the doll? Did you see that? It was like a meet and greet for her. It's pretty cool.
Oh, that's very cute.
The kids love the doll, man.
They do. Did you hear her promo? Like, don't have
Yeah.
It
an
was great.
ant. Oh, I need to get glasses because that looked like don't have an ant.
He doesn't have one of those either. Yeah, the promo, that was clearly directly from. You could tell the promos were a little looser. She quickly got that line in there. Get off my back. I sell a lot of them. What do you want me to do?
I can't wait to see Liv Morgan's promos. I hope they. No comment.
I hope they no comment. What a coward. All right.
Have you never been to New Jersey?
No. Actually, that I have. I went in my freshman year to Paramus, New Jersey.
I've been like 4 or 5 times. Let me tell you.
Let me tell you.
That is
Eli Drake.
That is a
Oh my god.
When are we doing an episode on Eli Drake?
Let me talk to you.
We do all these great matches in TNA. Fair. That's fair.
No, Oracle, tell me what you were gonna tell me because I'm listening.
Oh
You got my
yeah,
attention.
she's total Jersey girl.
That's as
Really?
far as Oracle's going.
Yeah, I can't go any further.
Joe, ask me when we're doing an episode on Eli Drake again.
When are we doing an episode on Eli Drake?
Let me talk to you. Don't be a dummy, because it's not an insult. This next segment is called Fact of Life. Yeah.
That's a fact of life. Yeah.
It's the fans of Impact.
That segment was rough. He had like crowd inserts and everything.
Dummy,
I like
yeah.
him.
Dummy, yeah. Dummy, yeah.
He's a good talent. I like him.
Don't they not like him? That's
Yeah, he has opinions and stuff on his character. Fucking
Like-
loser.
okay.
Well, like sometimes they ask him to do stuff and he goes, "Well, this fucking sucks," and they go,
Oh.
"You piece of shit," you know.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Not encouraged. Yeah, well, this was fun. This was fun to talk about. Bianca Belair's pretty good. I know you've heard, Jaychele. You should have been more clued in on this.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
You're
Shell, how
completely right.
concerned are you for Saturday?
Not very concerned.
Okay, good.
Because if it was Vince, probably would have been higher. Bianca's hometown, Triple H, we're good. We're good.
I'm thinking we're good too.
I'm not even going to let nobody put no doubt in my mind. Because I don't want to do that to myself this time. I was doing that to myself all WrestleMania time. No, Bianca's gonna get a definitive victory, and I'm gonna leave happy.
How long do we think she has the belt for?
At least Royal Rumble, maybe Mania.
Yeah, I think Rhea's going to win it in the. I think Rhea's going to win it either in the 4 or at the Rumble. Personally, that's
Do
my
you think
guess.
she'll lose to the conquering babyface Charlotte Flair in a rematch?
Stop.
That's
Full stop.
unfortunate. That feels
Full
unnecessary.
stop. I feel like if anybody's gonna lose to Charlotte, it's Liv.
That's so like all of this is terrifying. I just I'm scared by all the Charlotte Flair stuff at this point. It really does haunt me.
uh,
Oh man.
I would like to say we don't know if this is gonna be official or not yet, but if this person is on the card, this will be the next Jaychele Appreciation Society episode. It's a lot of syllables for me.
Yeah,
Next will be Chris Statlander if she's on the All Out card, which I hope she will be. Fingers crossed.
I think she will be. Look at the
I,
Oracle wrestling.
what are you doing,
Look at
Oracle?
him. My God, Oracle's on the gas.
What does that
That's
mean?
right.
It means he's
Got
on
some,
copious amounts of
I got
steroids.
some acne
Oh,
and shit. Yeah, I'm definitely on the gas.
See
Oracle.
Roosh last night?
Oh God, I saw his back, dude. I saw his back. I was like, this dude is totally gassed up. That's the
Added
first
half
thing
a
I
star.
thought, dude.
He's
Yeah.
on steroids?
Bro, his back was fucking insane. Like he's had it before, but that was nuts.
Wait, what do you
last
mean?
night.
What did his
Okay,
back look like?
so here's a couple of signs of steroids. If you see like, if you see seriously, if you see like this big like
This is
almost
no
like,
longer the Jaychele Appreciation Society, by the way. We have gone
Yes.
off the air.
Good point. Good point.
yeah,
Good point.
Okay,
Um,
continue, Oracle.
like if you see like a gut, like almost like a weird gut looking thing, that's a steroid gut. And you also if you see like a almost like a caveman forehead come out a little bit, that's another sign. Like the forehead comes out, and
Okay.
also like the acne, particularly like even on the face, but especially on the back. If you see a lot of acne, that means they're on roids,
Interesting.
or at least some type of supplement of some kind.
Oh my god. Is that for real? That comment? I don't want to bring it up because I don't want to get in trouble, but is that for real, Oracle?
What?
The latest comment?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Um, Oracle, how do you feel about Chris Statlander? Completely unrelated.
I like Chris Statlander a lot.
Okay. Have you seen any of her like Beyond matches?
Uh, Not really,
Okay.
but I was told that she was excellent for a while there.
Yeah, we're gonna watch some intergender matches.
Should be a good time. I haven't seen much of either. I've heard good things. She certainly has been impressive for the last. We're looking
I
at a
love
year
that
now.
shit.
The last year in AEW, she's been incredible. Honestly, the match with Britt gets each time Britt would defend her belt. That one got more impressive because of how good that match was. To be honest,
We should put it on the list, shouldn't we? That kind of has
Yeah,
to
I
be
think
on there. Yeah.
that's not one of her biggest. That's her biggest match in AEW so far.
Yeah.
So that and probably the Ruby match. Either one
Destination.
of them. Yeah.
My mom likes Ruby Soho and
Good.
Claudio.
They're both nice people. It seems so that tracks. That's good people.
Yeah.
All right. Jaychele, you got any final thoughts again before you take us home here on this wonderful adventure through the career of Bianca Belair?
I would just like to thank the Queen, Bianca Belair. I know you're probably not watching because we're an hour and 18 minutes into talking about complete bullshit, even though I've banned a couple words and they didn't listen to me anyway. Um, so I'm very grateful for you being the best active women's wrestler, and I cannot wait to see you perform at SummerSlam and whoop Becky Lynch's ass.
That was
Thank you.
nice. Oracle, you got any closing statements?
Go Bianca, go! I will be there, yelling for you, cheering for you. I'll be pumping my fist.
Wow.
I will. I will.
Can we get a live reaction?
I might.
Oracle?
I might have a hat and twirl it like it's a braid. You know, when she comes up.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I don't know. I might need to wear a hat. You know, that sun might be.
Yeah.
Yeah. By that point, hopefully the match. I don't know when the match will start, but it's gonna be hot in Nashville. So.
It's going to be quite the scene.
Yes.
Well, after a 25-minute barn burner,
Hmm.
Bianca's in there with the belt and stuff, and you're cheering, everyone's excited. and then they hit, stand up, shut up, and fight me.
No. They're gonna hit Bailey's music.
Hang on. Let me pitch this.
Bailey.
Oracle's excited. Let me pitch it.
I
So the
don't think
music's
he is.
playing, and when they do, New Japan Oracle, because it's a sports style presentation. They just sort of point at each other a little bit, and they go, "That's the next match, the Tokyo Dome." You don't need to do any build, right? Sports style presentation. Alexa just does that, but she has a doll with her, and Bianca nods
I'm
her
like
head.
Leo.
There you go. There you go. And Bianca just nods her
Bailey,
head.
Bailey.
Jimmy Smith says this is a match only big enough place is Cardiff. And then the sort of wrestling world rejoices. That's the way I see it going.
Why don't they just put Drew and Sheamus on the SummerSlam card instead of on fucking SmackDown?
They gotta hold him for Clash at the Castle, brother.
Pop.
Yeah, but the winner's got to face.
How good was Triple
More
Paul's
than a
tweet?
partnership for Clash of the Castle.
Triple Paul tweet, I hear you. Seth freaking Rollins. Freaking Rollins, I'm sorry.
Listen, what if, even though I know it won't be him, but what if I hear voices in my head? I'd scream.
It would brawl, man. It'd be awesome. It's going to be Johnny Gargano, which is incredible.
Do you really think it's going to be Johnny?
I have no idea.
Johnny was mine too. I hope it is Loki. Just
Rebel
for the
Heart
chaos.
hit.
I enjoy the chaos.
Just for Oracle, I hope
Any
it's Johnny.
chaos. Any chaos.
Oracle
Give me the
being there for
chaos.
an unadvertised Gargano Rollins match.
No!
Hilarious.
Wait, actually, it might be good, but that's not what I was expecting. So no.
Oh my god, it can't be that. It can't be Dolph.
You can't do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
No.
I don't
Can
know.
you agree with me, Joe? Do you think Bailey's coming back at SummerSlam?
Yeah, I do. I think Bailey's coming out and Charlotte will come back. One of them will come out the night after SummerSlam, the Raw after, I guess 2 nights after, but they'll both be back, I think, by this time next week, so it'll be a good time. Folks, I'm going to head to the paywall for a closing therapy session to end our day here at Late Night Grin. I'll probably be there in about 10 minutes.
I've got some. Stick around for a story off the air. I got to tell you.
Oh, I know. I'm going to have about 10 minutes. I'm going to let the Oracle of Wrestling conclude story. But if you go to latenightgrin.com, there will be a link waiting for you shortly. I'm going to just put a bow on this day, the day that it has been. What a day. We will not get in trouble, I promise. But we will talk it for a little bit and, just close it out in some, in some fitting fashion. So that'll be over at latenightgrin.com very, very shortly. Jaychele, anything else?
I just want to pull this comment up because it popped me.
Wait a minute now. Are there layers to that?
No.
That's something, man.
No, there's none.
Strong performance art. Very strong.
Okay.
I don't have any closing thoughts. Just tune in for the next Jaychele Appreciation Society. If you watch The Grin Grappler, you're fucking canceled. That's all my thoughts. Follow me on Twitter. I appreciate Jaychele. Appreciate Bianca. Enjoy SummerSlam to the best of your ability.
All right, folks. We're going to enjoy Oracle's off-air towel. I'll see you at latenightgrin.com in a second. All
Bye,
hail.
y'all.
Speak soon. Enjoy this outro.